Welcome, it's Guy Hutchinson. I'm standing here in front of the AMC movie theater. This is on Route 1 in New Brunswick, New Jersey, and this spot right here, we're actually on the back. The front and the back of this movie theater look the same, and it's quieter here because Route 1, which you can kind of see in the distance here, is a very busy road. But this AMC theater is unique because it was built on the spot of the old US #1 flea market. Most people just called it the US Route 1 flea market, but in their commercials they would always say US #1 flea market. And that flea market stood there for many, many years. Actually, before the flea market was there, the location was home to a Great Eastern department store. So the department store was built here, and it went out of business, and they built the US 1 flea market in its place. Construction right now is going on over here. There looks like they're building some kind of hotel complex. You can see some construction equipment. The US 1 flea market was also, in addition to being a flea market, it was an antique, they said an antique store. They had a Pennsylvania Dutch area in there where you could get Pennsylvania Dutch desserts and treats like that. And this particular movie theater has a little claim to fame in that prior to it being a theater, back when it was the US 1 flea market, there's a scene in the movie Mallrats where they say they're going to go to the dirt mall, and they come right to this location. Now, they filmed it somewhere else. The flea market was actually on its way to closing. It closed officially the following year. Mallrats came out in October of 1995, and the flea market's official closing date was in March of the following year. But a lot of what had happened with the flea market had it had been on the down slope at that point. And actually, I believe the flea market was not open in the winter, so it actually would have just reopened and then closed again. But they used this as the exterior. Brody drove up, and they called it the Dirt Mall, which I've never heard a flea market called the Dirt Mall. I believe that's a Kevin Smith invention, just so that it matches up with the fact that they were at another mall. Now, there is a bit of significance to this. At one time, this property was a home, and there was a house here, and a woman named Mary Ellis lived here, and she is buried here. Let's see if I can get a good shot there of her tombstone. And there are a lot of rumors as to why she's buried here. She was here when it was a flea market, and they've actually dug the ground down a little bit here, I believe. Not much, but you can see the gates open. But that's quite a thing to climb. Let me do some perspective. I'm 5'10". Got a lot of distance up there. And the story that's always been told about Mary is that Mary lived here, and she was married to a sea captain. And her house was on this hill and overlooked the river. And we're going to walk down and see how close we can get to the river. All these trees have grown up over the years. When I first started coming to this movie theater in the late 1990s, this movie theater, you can see a lot more back here. I feel like, I don't know if they purposely added trees to it or just nobody was making any effort to get rid of them. But let's see if we can get a little peek at the river. I think you could probably see it through there. I know I can, but sometimes the camera captures things a little differently than the human eye. So her sea captain boyfriend left, and so she would apparently look out at the sea and wonder about him. And nearby at the College of Rutgers, there was a handful of young men who were in a band called Looking Glass, and they sung a song called Brandy. And in that song, the guy leaves her. He says his life, his love, and his lady is the sea. Beautiful hit song, and I know it. It's in one of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, so you guys probably know what it is. But that's the story of Mary. I don't think there's any real truth to that, but who doesn't like a good story? But there's Mary. I always think if I was to be buried, this is not a bad place, because you know all your friends and family, they're going to come visit you occasionally. They're going to come see you and then go check out the latest movie. The first movie I remember seeing here was the live-action remake of 101 Dalmatians. I was working at a radio station at the time, and we were giving away tickets, so I remember going there for that. But I've seen a lot of movies in this theater. It used to be a Lowe's theater, and they actually opened every movie with a Muppets video, which I just loved. It was a Sesame Street video where, you know, Cookie Monster tries to eat the seats and all kinds of other ridiculous things happen. But anyway, here we are. I'm going to say goodbye. And so will Andre the Giant, apparently. There's Andre the Giant. All right, well, goodbye from me and Mary here at the old Dirt Mall.